In the ancient days, when the sun rose slowly over the valleys of Judah and the winds carried the whispers of prophets, there lived a young shepherd named Eliab. He was the son of a humble olive farmer, known in his village not for strength or wisdom, but for his quiet heart and unwavering gentleness. Every morning before dawn, Eliab would lead his sheep to the hillside, kneel on the soft soil, and pray. "Lord, make my heart listen even when the world is loud." Most people believed he was too simple, too tender, too silent to ever be used by God for anything great. But Eliab never stopped believing that God could speak to even the smallest of souls. One evening, after a long day of grazing, he returned home to find the entire village gathered around a traveling prophet named Azariah. The man's robe was torn from long journeys, but his eyes carried the fire of God. He spoke of a coming drought, one powerful enough to dry rivers, destroy crops, and bring nations to their knees. "The Lord says," Azariah declared, "that he will raise a helper from among you, one who hears his voice in stillness." The crowd murmured and argued among themselves, assuming the chosen one would be a warrior, a leader, a wealthy landowner. Eliab stood at the back, unnoticed as always, holding a small lamb in his arms. The drought arrived slowly, like a shadow stretching across the land. First, the streams thinned, then the wells grew shallow, and soon the once green hills faded into brown and gray. Farmers cried out, mothers carried empty water jars, children searched for fruit on barren trees. The people prayed, but heaven felt silent. Eliab watched helplessly as even his sheep grew thin and thirsty. Every sunset, he would climb the hill and ask, "Lord, do you hear us?" One night, when the sky burned red with dust and the moon struggled to shine, Eliab heard a voice, not thunderous, not fearful, but gentle as a breeze calling his name. "Eliab, follow me." His heart pounded. He looked around, but no one was there. The voice returned, "I have heard my people's cry. Walk to the wilderness of Zin. There I will show you life where all see death." Though afraid, Eliab obeyed. With only a staff, a water skin, and a single loaf of bread, he set out before dawn. Villagers tried to stop him, telling him he was too young, too unimportant, too weak for such a task. But something in his spirit had awakened, something stronger than fear. For 3 days, he crossed burning plains, sharp rocks cutting his feet, sun scorching his back. His water ran out on the 2nd day, his bread on the 3rd. By the 4th morning, Eliab collapsed beneath a lonely acacia tree, whispering, "Lord, I followed, but I cannot go farther." As his eyes drifted shut, he felt a shadow cross over him. When he opened them, an old man stood there, holding a staff that shimmered faintly, as if carved from moonlight. His beard was silver like starlight, and his voice warm like a father's. "Rise, Eliab," he said. "The Lord's work is never easy, but he does not abandon the obedient." The old man handed him a jar filled with cool, sweet water. Eliab drank until strength returned to his limbs. "Who are you?" Eliab asked. The man smiled. "A servant of the Most High. Walk now. You are close." And just like that, the stranger vanished, leaving only footprints in the sand. Renewed, Eliab pressed on until he reached a valley cracked open by drought. The land looked dead, no grass, no shade, only jagged stones and swirling dust. "Lord," he prayed, "what life can be here?" Then the gentle voice returned, "Strike the stone before you." Eliab looked down at a large boulder, dry and lifeless. He hesitated. "Lord," he said, "I am not Moses." The voice replied, "I do not need another Moses. I need Eliab." Trembling, he raised his staff and struck the stone. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly the ground shuddered, the rocks split, and a burst of crystal-clear water surged out, flowing like a newborn river. Eliab fell to his knees, weeping. The valley drank the water eagerly, and soon green shoots began rising from the soil, spreading like a miracle across the wasteland. Carrying the news back to the village, Eliab led the people to the valley. When they saw the river, they cried and sang praises. Crops were planted, wells filled again, laughter returned to homes. But there was more. Travelers from distant lands heard of the miracle and came seeking water and hope. Instead of keeping the blessing for themselves, the villagers shared freely, turning their small valley into a refuge. Azariah the prophet returned and declared, "The Lord has used the gentle, the overlooked, the quiet one. For God does not choose by strength or by fame, but by the heart that listens." Years passed, and Eliab became known not as a shepherd, but as the listener of God. People traveled great distances, asking for wisdom, expecting grand speeches or powerful displays. But Eliab always answered softly, "Listen for God in silence, for his voice is not in the storm, nor in the fire, nor in the earthquake, but in the whisper that many ignore." When Eliab grew old, long after the drought had become only a story parents told their children, he climbed once more to the hill where he had first prayed as a boy. Watching the sunset cast golden light over the restored valley, he whispered, "Lord, thank you for using even someone like me." And in that stillness, the same gentle voice answered, "Thank you, Eliab, for listening." And the story of the quiet shepherd who brought life to a dying land lived on for generations, reminding every soul that God often chooses the simplest hands to perform the greatest miracles.